So I'll try to give you a kind of a very quick expeditive update on the FANCE work. So let's say first question is, what is this all about and who we are? So PHYtx is, I would say, very from a chronological order, in a chronological order, one of the first established working groups in program form. So we develop technical specification to enable multi-vendor interoperability for copper network access and home networking technologies. So basically all the reasons you could have heard from Jason and Lincoln are our primarily driving forces here. So of course, that's all about standardized interoperability and certification and creating trust in equipment. So part of this is, of course, FANCE. This is very fancy name. This is one of our latest working groups or projects within this working groups. So it's about fiber access network copper extensions. And in this project stream, basically what we are doing, we are looking on deployment of copper transmission technologies that extend fiber networks to end users by utilizing the existing copper infrastructure at the premises. So these are 4 flagships of the FANCE in chronological order, starting with the 301. That was almost, I would say, 6, 7, 8 years ago, going into the fiber to the extension point, FTTep. Then one of the latest one, baby, is G.hn access. And really the latest one just initiated, the project is about heterogeneous home distribution networks. So I would just quickly like to give you kind of main facts about these projects. FTTep, as I said, is 301. This is a very, I would say, traditional, very mature architecture. It's about the node type supporting deep deployments of fiber-like services through the access network based on GFast and VDSL2 over shorter copper loops. There are a lot of very famous, in the meantime, FTTP deployment scenarios. I have listed just 3 of them. For all of you who are interested in more technical information about architecture requirements, all these details, please refer to 301. And I think Rhonda will be providing also the link to this official release documents. The next one is fiber to the extension point. It's just grown up the need for us to think about how to basically fulfill demand for higher data rates. And by not inventing everything from scratch, just by trying to reuse what's already there for many decades. And that was basically how the idea was born, that on contrary to the PON fiber deployments in brownfield areas, where there are several problematic issues to be resolved and different barriers and the complexity, there is this great opportunity to basically leverage the FTTep architecture requirements and just come much closer to the end user by utilizing the existing copper infrastructure, which is phone lines and coax. And for doing this, we are also using different underlying technologies for access. So we started with the ITU-TG Fast, and there are just 2 more on top of this. It is MoCA, and another one is ITU-TG.HN. And all of this to deploy fiber-grade services to the premises and without causing significant degradation in QoE compared to the FTTEH. I think on the Wednesday afternoon, second session, there will be 2 more speeches on the FTTP. So I kindly want to invite you to follow this. That will be more from the perspective of different approaches to develop or to address several deployment cases on the principles of FTTP. And all of this, and even more, of course, is can be found in TR419 work. So this is very briefly about what is TR419 and what you can find there. I think, first of all, that's a great collection of use cases, representative use cases that were submitted by the service operators. So we put almost everything that at that time was considered as a kind of a critical case from the perspective of FTTH deployments. So there is a little bit of architecture, management, operational aspects, and which is very important are 3 appendixes with kind of a guidelines as of what needs to be done if one of these 3 access technologies are used, and how this all should be configured and work. Following this technical report, we also have a great marketing document. It's MR419 and gives you really a kind of very quick and brief picture about why it is a good idea to consider utilization of the existing copper infrastructure. In this document, you will also have many use cases. I'm not going to go through of them today, just to make main points. And of course, the architecture is a kind of a key point. I'm mentioning it here. This is a kind of probably very well known, starting with the optical distribution network, copper distribution network, and the home distribution network. Why I mention it here is because this is a link to our latest project for ATA, where we are looking into the concepts, architectures, and requirements of the heterogeneous HDN as the last part of this whole architecture coming to the connected end user. There are several deployment scenarios. We are very short of time, so I will just skip this and please ask you to go into the PDF and our collection of slides and eventually asking the questions. I am providing just 3 typical cases how it should look like when you deploy GFAST, MoCA access, or G.hn access. And by saying this, we are at the point of introducing our project started last year. It is about G.hn access performance requirements. This is technology which is very well known as GigaWire at home grid forums. While they are focusing on interrupt conformance testing there, we are looking into the system performance requirements, and this is completely similar to how we are dealing with the GFAST performance requirements in our famous TR380. The concept is basically to cover all access technologies from the perspective of giving it a system overview from the perspective of what are the service requirements and the performance requirements for the end-to-end service by applying these technologies. The number of this is 476. So if you are interested in participating in this work, it's not too late to start doing this. We are currently at issue 1, where we focus on a single line performance testing over phone lines and coax. And the next phase is planned on the multi-line and basically looking into the crossdock environment and the behavior of mitigating crossdocks, and also including the reverse power feed. So let's skip this one. And now we are at the latest one, just initiated. And it's about this last piece on the block diagram regarding the FTTEP. It's home distribution networks architecture and requirements. This is the work we are basically performing jointly with Jason's bus group. So basically, it's the current challenge for all of us to roll out future-proof fiber-grade services quickly, easily, low-costly, deployable, reliable, to the end users and the businesses and over high performance home networks. So it's a kind of the ultimate goal there. So the home networking is, as we all know, a heterogeneous network infrastructure, and up to now we haven't have a kind of in BBF look into the architecture requirements for home distribution networks. So this is something we think was missing. This is how we advance for 19 on these aspects of deploying the home distribution networks. I'm listing here the scope just to give you a kind of a feeling what we are intending to cover here. As it was done also in 419, we will start with the use cases, and I would really like to invite the service provider interested in these aspects of their deployments to actively participate and really bring us to our awareness what are the use cases and problems they face there, so we can address the architecture management operational aspects. We will have deployment models for connectivity of end users, also components of home distribution network. We will cover several in-home networking technologies, and also as aspects of RG functionality and management related to architecture requirements. This is our seed project for G.hn. We would really like to be very quickly in providing this kind of framework and the starting point, and the expectation is, of course, with the next phase and also long-term scene, that all of these elements in the scope and specifically dealing with what BUS is doing regarding management and covering all these aspects of dealing with the connected end users will develop and deeper into this specific, more detailed areas. So I guess I'm very happy that we are doing this work together with the BUS. And with this, I just want to invite you. Kickoff meeting is May 18th. It's our teleconference call. So what we are going to do there is we will probably like to agree on the content and on the principles of work, and basically just to want people to participate and try bring in their contributions, first of all, starting with the use cases. And I guess I'm at the end of today's presentation. Thank you very much.